పేపర్ కప్ ఉంది అందులో అందులో అక్కనే తీసుకుంటాను. కాకపోతే బయటకు వస్తున్నాం కదా అని ఏమి తాగట్లేదు. అసలు మామూలుగానే నేను బయట ఎక్కడ ఏం తీసుకోను. అది మాత్రం తాగుతా షాప్కి వెళ్తా. బాబు అందరూ అప్పుడే వచ్చేస్తున్నారు. వీళ్ళకి ఆల్రెడీ తర్వాత రూమ్ లో కెపాసిటీ ఉండదని ప్రిన్సిపల్ సార్ మెసేజ్ పెట్టారు. రెడీగా ఉన్నారా? ఓకే 500 కొంచెం చక్రవర్తి ఒక నిమిషం అడ్మిట్ కొట్టు. పదిహేడు మంది వచ్చేసారు ఆల్రెడీ.
మనీష్ సార్ గుడ్ మార్నింగ్. మనీష్ సార్
సార్ మీ దగ్గరికి వచ్చినట్టున్నారు.
ఇటే వచ్చారా?
బయటకు వచ్చారు ఇప్పుడే.
see us with the question. Sir, I request you to put my first slide, please. Yeah, I think, yeah, I have raised questions and all of us been since ages we are discussing that. Then you must be thinking, why are we discussing it again? What is the purpose of this? Because see, it is pre-COVID, COVID, post-COVID, the finance remains the same. It's the lifeblood of any organization. Okay, and without that, be it an individual, be it a company, be it an industry, be it any government cannot work. So it is as we've been time to time saying, lifeblood of the organization. So what is that? Why we have to give so much importance to finance? Why? What is that? Students, I want you to think. I know most of you think, oh, what is this? It's a tough thing. Oh, we have to crack it. No, finance, we have to understand it. The more you understand, the more you connect it, the better decision making you do, which I'm going to show you in the later slides. Then what are the decisions taken by the finance manager? We all know this, but re-emphasizing again and again how this decision, especially such pandemic situation, what kind of decisions we should take. I don't want you to just decide by yourself. Look at the scenario, what is prevailing in the market, then accordingly you can take the decisions. And the decisions taken by the finance manager, okay, what could be the implications? It is not just the finance manager, whatever the decisions, let's say where to invest, how to raise money, what about working capital, all such will have an impact on the firm in the sense other functional areas at all the three levels, that is the top, middle and the execution level, then across the functional areas, maybe across the group if you're talking about, if you're conglomerate or big groups are there, what are those implications we are going to see, and what are the macroeconomic factors which will impact the decisions of the firm. Now we have seen a change in interest rates, change in inflation, change in government policy, okay, all this will have an impact. Now, before I go to these slides, I think Mr. Manish has put the next slide, you can look at that. I have taken from World Economic Forum, as you can see, what are the risks the companies are facing it. What are the risks you can see here all over globally? These are it's not only India, it's not only our state, our country, our continent, it's across the globe. Every economy is facing, which we have to understand. Risk is good. Why it is good? Because it's an opportunity to think differently, to come out with the different strategies, or relook at what strategies you have to take up. Now, if you look at first one, prolonged recession of the global economy. Yes, it is a situation. We cannot overrule it. We cannot. So how do you understand this situation of global recession? What strategies you are going to take up? Would you continue with the same production schedules? You want to cut down? Is it a new demand coming up? A new product which is emerging? Every organization is looking from this new markets. If you look, I mean, in the later, I'll talk about different industries, how they are doing and some are, not doing well, some other are doing well. How this is giving an opportunity and how do you manage risk is what we are going to see. Then surge in bankruptcies and wave of industry. Now, what is happening? Yes, there's a huge increase because the economic activity is not there. Once the economic activity is not there, what happens? Yes, you cannot continue with the production. Once you cannot continue the production, then the entire cycle gets affected. In turn, employment also gets affected. So what are the ways you can see that the companies or the economy functions is a very important issue. Then I know we are all moving from real to virtual. Yesterday we are on the virtual platform, but what has happened? Lot of cyber attacks, data fraud, because all of us are working online. This is an opportunity. People who are thinking differently. Lot of opportunity for them. So how should you, take care of the cyber security is a one risk which most of the companies, because data breach, You have seen topmost people got attacked in Twitter and different accounts. What is that measure we have to take? Everybody, government, police departments, law department, everybody is working on something called the cyber security, which is a very emerging area where students can definitely take into consideration. They can look about. Okay. And then failure of industries or sectors in certain countries. Yes, a lot of sectors which are not doing well. To name a few, if you look at the automobile sector, it is before COVID only, there was a downtrend. And today it is in very worse situation. Except few people are not even thinking about new product launch, especially country like India. Because here the priorities of the individuals and the industry is changing. So how these sectors will cope up? I think we were discussing other day in some other platform, in the automobile sector, except tractors, which is in huge demand, rest all are not doing well. Maybe to some last 2 months, I think two-wheelers, because there is no transportation facilities in most of these public transportation facilities. So two-wheelers have geared up, but not as the previous 2 or 3 years, which has seen a huge growth in the automobile sector. Then protracted disruption of global supply chain. The logistics and supply chain, which we talk about, or supply chain, which we talk about, is a very, integral part of every individual. Now, what happened because of, various logistics, like your airways, seaway, or roads, there is a disruption. Now, how to overcome these disruptions? Companies like Amazon or Flipkart or things also faced problems, are still facing problems, challenges, and they're constantly looking at how to overcome these problems continuously. Then tighter restrictions on the cross-border movement. Yes, we talked about globalization, we talked about free movement of goods and services. Now that is a big question mark. Should you go? Now, what is happening to Chinese problem, India and China relations you're seeing, China and other countries relations you're seeing. So will it be same? It may not be same in the further, but there might be some companies which are losing opportunities. There are a lot of companies which get opportunity if we can get up to this situation. Okay, now Atmanirbhar we are talking about, the Prime Minister, which is very popularly talking about. So this is a time where companies should look what we are good, what is our core competency, what is our competitive advantage. Now, if you look at every news and everything, people are talking, Japanese wants to move out their companies from China to some other countries. Does India have a chance? Are we geared up? Because ours is a very robust, because youth is here. There are a lot of people who can, the younger, it's called youngest country because a lot of people here, 60% are in the youth, in the working age group. So is it an opportunity to us is one very important question. Then there is a chance that we are listening when this COVID will go or one more wave will come. What is not of risky situation? What should we do there? Should we stop? No, we cannot stop the economy. We have seen, we have slowed down. But when we are slowing down, what is happening? There's a lot of unemployment. Your GDPs are coming, the national income is coming down because of this. Okay, how do we try to manage this situation? Then economic collapse of emerging markets. There's a sea change. There is a sea change. That means whatever you had so great plans, you have to rethink. That's why we say planning is a dynamic thing, especially financial planning. How do you relook at that? Okay, how do I come out? See, you've seen suddenly there's a sea change. We're talking about something called sanitizers. We're talking about liquid soaps. We're talking about masks. We're talking about immunity boosters. If you have looked at the advertising strategy of most of the companies, has also changed. Some of the companies are very specifically talking about the importance of immunity, because we are living. Then we can think about other things. Okay, then your weakening of fiscal positions in the major countries, sharp increase in the inflation. Yeah, this one point I would like to talk about inflation. how can we control this inflation? The government and the banks or the RBI is trying to do, but in this scenario, it is very, very difficult. Your interest rates are coming down, your inflation is going up. What about the real rate of interest? Is a one question which we need to answer both from the industry and the individual perspective. So some major risk as identified by World Economic Forum I'm trying to present. See, it is not I'm coming and telling you, you have to think these aspects whenever you're making the decisions from the, from industry perspective, or you're doing from a project perspective, or you're analyzing a scenario, you have to look. These are the current well-researched risk areas which I want to present. Now, let me go to the next slide, please. Yeah. Now, I'll come back to the basic thing. What are these financial decisions? I know most of the professors, what is this? See, anywhere you go, these are the 4 decisions we have to take. As I said, it can be individual, organization, firm, or an industry. Where do I invest? Long-term investment decisions. As Dr. Ramana just now was talking about, should we go? Should I buy now something? Should I postpone it? What is that I have to do? It depends upon the, basically, I'm sorry. What is that? How much funds you have? Funds not just now, funds in the coming time. Maybe you have to think not just today, this year, next year, and the coming year. You should go ahead with that. Can you postpone it? Is one very important, especially this COVID. Is it really urgent, or can we look out for something else in some other time? Is one very important. So investment decision long term, we are talking about the projects. We are talking about buying of the land and equipment, expansion. Is it required, or automation? Is it required? How much funds are required? Or if you invest today, what are the benefits? Or I should talk benefits because you have a profit-making non-profit organizations also, benefits or the returns you are going to get over a long term. One aspect. Then second, let me talk about the financial decisions or how to raise money. Now, if you look current Indian scenario, interest rates are very lower. Okay, the interest rates are getting down. So companies, should they opt for debt or should they go for equity? Is it in the domestic scenario, or they have to go some other countries where they can accessible to the fund? So again, it requires what is the financial position, how the demand for your products is there, okay, and how, if you are listed, how your particular share is doing in the secondary market. So all this is dependent, and timing. What do you want to raise? Should you go for equity? People, equity may not be the right timing because the entire market, the individuals may not take risk except few who are financially good. So debt is right component. How much debt should be there? Okay, should you go for fund it entirely debt or part of a debt? Is some of the questions which we have to answer from the company or the industry perspective. And what is the backing by the government? Especially I'm talking about MSMEs, where government is trying to help them with a lot of funding. So should they go for that, or should they raise by themselves, work out and see what best decisions they can take for the firm? Now, of course, dividend decisions. Now, this is one critical decision every firm in this kind of scenario. How many companies are giving dividend, which is motivating, stock markets? Let me tell you, we were doing a small project during April and May with my students who are, doing course with the joint MBA program in Central Michigan University. We were working out, different stock markets, and we have done some work like on German stock market, on the Japanese Nikkei and Shanghai, and different Canadian, New York Stock Exchange, all this. And we have seen for a particular period of time, there was a downtrend. But after that, they started recovering, and slowly you can find the up. It is not a drastic, but it's a very slow movement of that. So here it shows there are investors who are interested to invest. So that means, yes, the investors can be little positive. There could be some companies which can definitely declare a dividend and they can stay invested. The reason is Here, the stock market, the prices are low compared to others. So those who want to invest now, this is the best time. I'm again talking with respect to their financial position, very importantly. Backup, which I'm going to deal in the last from the individual perspective. So it all depends, should you stay invested in the stock market? From the individual perspective, when you look from the industry perspective, should you go to the markets and get? So that is about the dividend decision. Then working capital, how am I going to get funds? Here, I think in the last, I'm going to talk more about the working capital decision, maybe the coming slides. Before that, I would just like to talk about more on investment decision. If we can go for the next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So you can see investment management firms, I think this I have taken from a Deloitte report. Very interestingly, you can see investment management firms are combining the operational transformation, risk management to improve the competitive advantage. So here, one very important, it's not the time we look very long term. It is a time to look at the current scenario, again, which varies from industry to industry and sector to sector. Now here they have identified what is this operational transformation and how to manage the risk. If you can look at that, change business configuration. Here they have identified diverse underperforming asset, adjust number of products and services, geographics, customers, etc. That means relook internally what you're good at. Okay, which businesses should I go ahead, or should I see which are not doing well? Should I cut it down, or should I minimize it, or should I reduce the exposure, is what they are talking about. Then implement specific automation or cognitive technologies. Yes, cost cutting is the mantra, downsizing is the mantra of the industry. So how the technology should be adopted? Because the ultimate aim of any company or the industry is to reduce the cost. So they are moving on to the technologies. Then outsource offshore business processes to low cost service providers. Entire global organizations want to cut the cost and see how best they can achieve this, and they're scouting for the people or the countries which can provide this low cost service provider. So India has a huge opportunity where we have to get up to the situation, upgrade our skills, quality of work. These are some parameters which we have to keep in mind when you're talking about the Western countries and most of the other countries. The quality of work is what they look on. Once it is up to the mark, you get the inflow of the work. Okay, then increase centralization. Yeah, this is not the time for the decentralization. Every organization, the strategy they are adopting is centralization. Now you must be thinking, why I'm talking more of a strategic issue or operational issues here. The reason is all this will have an impact in your financial decision making. So earlier it could have been decentralized. Now once you go for centralized decision making, then what happened? You are trying to integrate the various units of business and the functions so that you have a control, or you have better access to the entire information of the organization for better decision making, including financial decision making more specifically. So these are some of the operational transformation which Deloitte was talking about. Then there are some risks, streamline business processes. You can see, let me talk about from unorganized to a giant MNC. Unorganized, small, kiosk or small cart fellow to MNC, multinational organization. Now they are identifying very clearly, very focused, that how I should manage my risk. Avoidance we can't do. How do I manage my risk? What aspects I should work on? Okay, then streamline organization structure. That means, you know, you've been listening to a lot of people from the industry that they are trying to, you know, increase the span. That is, you're working more than one person or two persons work is, if they don't do, their sustainability is an issue. This has happened previously also. Let me talk about when we had in 2007, third quarter onwards, subprime crisis. All the economists suffered because of the subprime crisis. We all have witnessed it. Some of the companies yet to recover from that wave, and we are facing one more big wave. So here, how do you streamline? What is should go in? How should you avoid? Okay, now let me talk about, I think all the students would be interested to know, a lot of companies are identifying their competitive advantage. They were into diversified business. Let me talk about Sony. Sony, you know, all of you remember? I'm talking about consumer durable here, that is television. It is focused on television market only. Rest all, it has come up, it has given up. Now let me talk about Samsung. Samsung, you know, it has emerged as one of the market leaders when you talk about smartphone market. And it was earlier into laptops, but slowly it said, no, this is my advantage, competitive advantage. I'm going to be the leader here. So they're working in that direction. Then to improve policy compliance. What do you mean by policy compliance? How I should meet every policy, be it a country's policy, be it a state policy. How do I manage that? Because if you're deviating that, your existence of the business is questioned. So how do I improve this compliance? Time to time, and because of automation or digitization or use of artificial intelligence, today people expect you to do it at a very fast pace, especially when it comes to government norms. Strictly, everybody has to adhere to the government norms. So these are some of the things which I thought I should bring to your understandings, which we have to know how these transformations are happening in the operational and then strategic, then on the other functional areas, and how should we think about looking at these risks. So we will move on to the next slide, please. Manish sir, can we go for the next year? Now, from operational and the managing risk, let me come again. This is one of the works done by the Deloitte, which I want to bring to your kind notice. Very interestingly, very, very much required strategic choices framework. Now, if you can look this illustration, we are talking about risk intelligence. You know, what is this risk intelligence? You can see very well given. I think the organizers will share the slides with you. You have something called offense and defense strategy. Okay, now you have, if you can look at this, there is an operator, steward, catalyst, and strategist. Now let me not go into each of the aspects. Let me focus on something which I think we should, what is a driving value when you look at the strategist? Opportunity to use risk as an advantage or understand the implications to make strategic decisions that lead to higher level performance. I'm telling you this, everybody is focusing today. Very, well performing top companies are also looking, what is that, competitive advantage I have and how can I use it? Then you have, for example, let's say choices, strategic choices and the pathways you are going to select. Then if you look at the catalysts, you have digitization, you have ecosystem, trade, let me, again, you can see here, we are talking about Brexit. Now, Britain, if you look at now today, they're coming out so many policies. Let me share one or two. They have waived off the stamp duty for the houses. I was discussing with one of my friend who is working for a banking sector, developing software. I was saying, why this initiative? Then they say, because if the housing market boom is there, all other, definitely, because people are buying, people want to investment in the housing sector, then what happens? There are other related areas they want to remodify. And a lot of people get into different kinds of jobs, and that might help in making the economy work better. Like that, many such initiatives are taken up by many other governments. I just wanted to quote one very specifically, lot of initiatives, and I think they are insisting some of the organizations to work from office only. I know. I asked again why, when everybody is talking about work from home, convenience and all, they're saying if work from office is there, the entire ecosystem will also survive and they get an opportunity to do well. Okay, and then proactively protecting value. If you look at that, how do I tackle the very important aspects? You can see so many natural disasters happening, security issues, especially cyber security, terrorism. In spite of pandemic, these things come on. We know we have recently India also witnessed. How do we get up to this? Yes. Then now I think all product bundling is happening. Marketing strategies are changing, advertising is changing, your HR aspects are changing, and all this are connected to your financial aspects. Any functional area, it is connected to ultimately your financial decision making. And look into these aspects, trying to refocus. They're very clearly working on the plant. How should we see that? What is that we have to focus on? What is that we have to go? In which area we have to go? Not just diversify. So this is something about which Deloitte has shared with you, strategic choice framework. Then we will move on to the next slide, please. Now, let me bring in some aspects because I basically my aspect is to research. Research is look into not just what we look in the textbooks or the journals. I just wanted to focus on what's happening in others. So this is one of the reports from McKinsey and Co on India. They have studied every country, but I thought our focus area should be on India. So I brought some of their study to this platform so that you can look into that. Now you can see consumers see the economy as neutral or weak today, but expect to remain the same in next 3 months. This is a survey done by McKinsey and Co, and how they are looking at the Indian. So if you can look at the current state of economy expectations in next 3 months, they have done it. So you can say from June 10th onwards they have given. So previous months they have projected. Then length of economic impact. Very interestingly, if you look at the statistics here, what is happening, 31% here, 36%, 30%, it's going to be weak, what the people have thought. The pink color indicates. Then if you go to this white middle box, which says they are neutral. Okay, and the top box earlier, how strong it is going to be. And next, what happened? If you look at that current state of economy, they're talking economy expectations in the next 3 months, you can see. So they are saying it's going to be strong compared to this time. Now, then length of economic impact. This is one very important factor which we have to understand. So how many of them think 3 months, the impact will be there? How many of thinking 6 months and around 1 year and 1 to 2 years, you can look at this. So very important, if you look at this, I would say around 1 year, it is coming around 70%. So this impact, they are going to be a minimum around 1 year is what the people feel. So 70% of them feel that the economic impact is going to be there. And if you just add this 1 to up to 2 years, again, 18% I think it can be beyond 1 year. So you must be thinking, why are we talking about this? What is that connected to us? See, it is connected. You should align, the company should align, looking at the expectations of the people. So surveys help us. So okay, the economic impact is going to be, let's say, 1 month, 1 year or beyond that. So how my planning, my choice, my financial decision making, my investment decisions or working capital decisions should be based on. This helps to think in that direction, because they do very exhaustive studies, which is helpful to the industry as well as the individual in the decision making. So we will move on to the next slide, please. Now, again, this is done by your McKinsey and Co only. So what is the household income for the 3 months? What are the household savings? What are the household spending? Now, if you look at that here, incomes were reducing. Okay, savings also reduced. If you look at April to May, then little enhancement in June. Now, spending, if you like, will increase. Very, very important, because we have to sustain, we have to live, we have to face the situation. So there should be economic activity. What is that requirement? How many of us, now just now our principal sir was talking about, how many of us really thinking about luxury products? No, this is not the time where we have lot of funds and we want to buy luxury products. No, it is very tough. If you look at the real assets, let me talk about mostly precious metal, which is hitting, which is very, it might increase more. The production is there because all other countries are trying to invest here. So this is not the time to buy and be happy that I have so many assets. No. So this will help the companies to focus on what the people want right now. We want very basic necessities. We want better living conditions, better health conditions, maybe better insurance policies, which is the need of the hour. So these are the inputs to the companies and also individuals like us, what decisions we have to look into. Can we go to the next slide, sir, please? Now, let me talk a little bit about the banking also. I know because everybody, we either have an account, we have transactions with the banks, and bank play a very, very important role here. Okay, now what are the expectations about the banks? Bank performance is mostly or about in line with the expectations of the consumers. Now, if you look at that bank, because financial transaction has to happen, and you find definitely performing much above is 33 in the April, then 24 and 24 in this month. Okay, now what happened if you performing per my expectations is more. So if you look that banking is doing better, will continue to do better. In India, we are seeing a lot of mergers and amalgamations which are happening, which I'm going to discuss in the next slide. So these are some of the aspects which we have to look, because how the banking are totally changing today, just transforming totally. I think how many of us really visited bank? I think it's been a long time, but our transactions are going on because of the digitization, or maybe mobile applications. It becomes so easy that we are transacting. I think days very soon will be totally cashless. No, today because of this pandemic, we are really worried. Should I give some cash currency note? Is it safe? So banks are playing a very major role in country like us with a huge population, and everybody should come into this organized thing. Banks are playing very silently an important role and trying to do their best with the policies from the RBI and the government initiatives. Next slide, please. Now, let me come and talk about how the financial decision makers are looking at the future. A very interesting and important slide where we have to focus again. This is from McKinsey I've taken. Now, if you look at this blue color indicates optimism, this is unsure, and this is pessimist. The financial decision makers' confidence levels on economic conditions after COVID situation, how do you find? It has reduced. The optimism has come down, but still people are optimistic that economy will bounce back, maybe after 2-3 months or maximum 6 months, and we will be on the trajectory, growth trajectory soon, is what this survey carried out by McKinsey reports talk. The economy will be impacted from this is 2 to 3 months they are talking about, then 6 to 12 months, then a long lasting how it is. But overall we can say, if you look at within a 1 year period, definitely that our economy will go up once we see that this situation, this pandemic is in control, or we are able to get some vaccine for that. Definitely we are going to go back. So we have to be optimistic, and we have to see in the long run what the company should plan so that they sustain and start growing next 2-3 years. So, let me move on to the next slide, please. Manish sir, am I slow? Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am. No problem.
Right. Now let me come to the very important aspect. Now, why did we see all those, reports from, what do you say, your World Economic Forum, Deloitte or McKinsey? See, be it individual or the company or industry, these are the areas, very important areas which we have to work on. Capital budgeting. Is it the right time to invest? The wrong time to invest? What is your financial position? How the company, see, company, at least you have your annual reports, which I'm going to discuss shortly, but individual, it's you should decide how much risk you can take now. Yes, there are a lot of people who talk about, risk, but what is your current financial position? You know better. And you should be judicious. And if I'm in the coming term, I'm going to talk to you some other slides which experts have given, which I want to share with you. So is it a right time to go for long-term decision? If your financial position is good, you can sustain next to 2-3 years. Yes, go make investments. Now, from the company's perspective, now as our principal sir was talking, should I go for new product line? Should I expand? Okay, or should I get into new markets? Is it right time? It's very, very important. Now, I think I should talk about one scenario which I have seen recently, 2-3 days back. Apple iPhone earlier used to manufacture in China and we used to get it. Now, because they have huge potential market in India, they have identified. So they said, no, we will set up a base in Chennai now. So companies like that, where they have a very good opportunity to, or a lot of volumes which they can sell in India and a lot of demand for such products, yes, it is a time for them to go for long-term decision making. But the companies, if the sustainability is issue, should they go? How much they should stretch is a very important. With more debt. Now, when I talk about debt, very important aspect is your interest rate scenario, your inflation, okay, and how the government policy is there towards the different, your MSME or the other company, or any tax benefits, any subsidies, any government policy which is going to help is a one very important parameter which you have to keep in mind when you are deciding about the debt and equity component. Is it the right time to go for equity? I know when we are talking about capital structure, let me talk about some of the sectors which are doing well, which are really doing well, because we were observing our students and we were doing some assignments on, then we have seen, if you look at the pharmaceutical, technology companies or FMCG companies or electronics now, thanks to online classes or virtual platforms, these sectors are doing very well. So what this sector should do? There are a lot of people even today, they say they want to invest in stock because the prices are very low and they can reap benefit. But very important, is it the right time? How long you can hold the stock? What about liquidity aspects should be taken care in mind when you're talking about capital structure? Now, let me talk about the company's perspective here. Now, capital structure, should we go for, if you have financial requirements, how do I raise within the domestic or other markets? If it is domestic market, what is my, is it equity or the debt? If the debt, from where? And what are the interest rate scenario going to be in the coming time? So these are some questions which every company should think before deciding on the financial decision, more specifically the capital structure decision. Now let me touch upon the very important, which makes the operations of the firm to go on, is working capital. Today, most of the MSMEs have this problem called working capital. I know government is, giving lot of support, banks are supporting, but may not be sufficient because what happened, the cost, there is a huge inflation now. So how do they manage their working capital? As you know, the three components we are going to talk about is your inventory, then the cash, how are you going to manage your cash, then receivables. What about the receivables? You talk to any small organization, big receivables, collection of these receivables is a big issue. How do you manage your receivables and payables? How see that you get back? Because everybody says COVID situation. Please wait, we will give. How are you going to overcome the situation? Especially the corporates are looking out and they're seeking a lot of support. I'm more specifically talking about MSME sector. They're looking support from the government so that they can come back. Now, if this is not doing well, there is a lot of unemployment which we are going to see. And unemployment, definitely the economy, it is not good. We want people to be working, people to be earning, people to be spending. Then, of course, there is spending and economic development is linked, what we have learned and what is actual thing. So how are you going to manage your working capital? Okay, I just spoke to one gentleman recently who runs a logistic, this thing, he was saying, madam, I'm just giving some 15% discount so that I can get my receivables. I said, very interesting. Because that is a strategy. He has decided to get back his receivables. He's giving some discount so that the other companies also feel comfortable and get his receivables in time. So what are the strategies adopted by the companies so that they able to get this working capital and see that their activities going on as planned or according to the new plan? So these are some of the areas where as a students or the learners or the researchers in the finance area, which has a major impact on your financial decision making. What is a capital budgeting proposal? What is a capital structure? And what is a working capital management? How are they coping up? Okay, I'm not going in depth because I thought this is just, I want all of you to think in this direction. It's learning is a continuous process. So we have to relook each of these aspects. The students who are taking up projects, they have to think, see what is happening in other countries, what are they doing, developing countries, what they are doing, developed countries, everybody is facing the situation. It's not just India, it's not just we, Telangana or AP, it is everybody. How are they coping up? And there are very successful companies. What are their strategies? What we can do? What is the local advantage you have? Local market you have? How can you enhance these aspects? We have to look into so that we can go for better decision making. So next slide, please. The next slide I'm going to talk about, I think one more slide is, what are the tools for financial decision making? I have nothing new to say. I'm just trying to tell you how you can take a financial decisions. Now, if you look from the company's perspective, what is the financial statements you've been learning, what is income statement, what is balance sheet, statement of cash flow, some of the tools which will tell you how a company is doing within a year, if you're taking longer time, 3 years and 5 years, how the company is doing. So before investing in any equity stock also, as a financial literate people, we have to understand, don't go by the hype or the emotions or the sentiments of the stock market. Look at the fundamentals of the stock. So one very important tool here comes as your financial statements and followed by ratio analysis. I know so many ratios, but every ratio is important. Every ratio helps. Now, let me just talk about some 3-4 profitability ratios. Let me talk about return on investment. One thing, even a layman will ask, what is ROI? Yes, ROI, how? Are you looking for 1 year? Are you looking over a period of time? Is what you have to understand. So return on investment, return on capital employed, return on equity, return on assets. All this will give you a direction how a company is doing. To tell a few. All of you are undergoing, I know, at the BCom level, at the MCom, at MBA and different levels. So, give importance to these ratios, try to understand. It gives a lot of signals to us. Now, let me talk about one ratio, P by E, market price by earnings per ratio. So what is a market price, current market price, divided by the earnings, your earnings of the company, per share basis I'm talking about. So if it is very high, should you go for aggressive companies? Should you go for not so aggressive? Beta is one indicator which talks about. Should you be more aggressive than the, market? So again, you have to decide what kind of investor you are. You want to beat the market, or you want to have your own investment objective intact, is one very important. That is what I'm going to talk about in the next coming point. Now, forecasting. Entire globe, entire analytics is based on forecasting. What do I forecast? Your demand and supply. First basic thing when you talk about management, what is the level of demand? What is the level of supply in the market, demand and supply? Then what is it when you talk about a company? What is the production? What is the output? Or what are the sales? So output is different than sales. Two different aspects. You're looking at the internal. And what are the economic resources? What is the economic resources? Now let me quote a small example. A vegetable vendor you go. When you go and buy, at the evening, when he sees there is going to be heavy rain, he will dispose of everything. Sometimes below cost also. Why? Because he knows if he continues, if he holds for another one day, it is useless. He has to throw it in the subway. Similarly, who has a common sense? I'm telling you, he might not have financial literacy, but he has a common sense. Similarly, every organization will look out. What are those economic risks? How much I should produce? How much output is optimum at a given cost? Or the lowest cost, how best I can produce. These are forecasting which the company should work on, do exercise, so that here the downsizing or the cost cutting or sustainability of the company is in stake. Then let me come to the next point, your risk and return. From the individual, I always am a teacher of security analysis, portfolio manager. I tell one thing: don't be greedy. Greed will, first time you're lucky, second time you're lucky, third time you're lucky, fourth time you're really low. You be intact with your investment objective. Why am I investing? Now, this is one question we have to answer as an individual. Or why should you invest? Basically, you do have enough funds to investment. Okay, if you have enough funds, what is the return you're expecting? See, your bank interest rate says around 4.5 to 5%. And somebody promising you 30%. Is it logical? From where he will give you 30%? There are so many, chit fund agencies did that, I'm sorry to say, but how can they give you? So it is a greed which is taking. So what is that market conditions? What is the level of risk you can sustain? You have to come out quantitatively your return and risk so that you can do better decision. Yes, I want some 15%. Yes, good. Somebody says, I want 200% return, not possible in this time, unless you are into very, highly demand products. So what is that logical, practical, pragmatic way that return you are expecting and the level of risk you are ready to take are the two components which we have to study in detail in this. Then, and from company's point of view, let me look about one very important aspect we should not miss out: the management accounting, where what should be that break-even point or the break-even sales they have to make so that they can continue in this situation. CVP analysis, which you have learned, which I just wanted to bring to your notice. These are some of the tools for the financial decision making. So I'm not going in detail because already you're learning. I want to bring you some scenarios where you can think about and explore more, is what my objective of this webinar is. Sir, can I have next slide, please? Manish, Dr. Manish, please. Yeah. Now, this is a very interesting, again, when I was going through some of the articles, I felt I should share such a platforms where students and professors are there. We can discuss about what practical steps we should take to overcome this financial crisis. You know, when chief investment officer has written, they didn't want to share the name. So I said, okay, I've taken from Economic Times. I just want to bring to your notice. Now, in this situation, if you look at the slide, keep money handy, spend very carefully. This is not time for too luxurious spending. You have to be very clear, have, you know, money in your hand, because necessity very important. Health issues are there, you know, daily, you know, taking care of yourself is one very important than the luxuries. Then second very important point which he talks about is prepare to become redundant or underpaid. We don't know, today job is there, tomorrow it will not be there. We are seeing every sector, education sector, you know, health sector also, there are huge demand. People want to work in conditions, no, they're not required today. Corporate, they're firing. So you be ready. How should you be ready? In fact, I remember 2007 third quarter subprime crisis, 7 and 8. Then there was one formula which corporate has worked out. Suppose if anybody is fired from the company, they have come out with a formula called 9 months salary they should hold for the sustainability. Very interestingly, so in such situation, yes, what I should do, what skills I should acquire, how should I, what are my competences, or what are the strengths which I need to be strengthened, weaknesses which I can overcome, and how should I mentally, physically, spiritually fit enough is one very important question which we have to answer. Now, one very important he has highlighted, do not borrow. He says, don't borrow. Either friends, relatives, switch to debit card, then the credit card. Very, very interesting point. Because the moment credit card you swipe, okay, today you are happy. 30 days, 45 days, you start getting messages, mails, pay, your outstanding bill is so and so. So he says, no, avoid such kind of, you know, spending. Switch to debit cards because you're conscious, whatever money you have from that, you're spending. Now, for the people who are earning, for them, make a mental list of assets which you can liquidate. You need, maybe how do I get my funds? Don't borrow, as he's saying. What is that you have which you can liquidate? Is it gold or the property? Make a list of that. You should be ready, because then you are able to make better decisions. Next slide, please. Now, here, be willing to trade off some long term for the short term. Let's say there are a lot of people who, you know, like invest in retirement funds, want to keep some funds for the retirement. So he says, think about it. Should you hold it, or should you can use it for this now? You know, then go think about long term, because long term is very high, but currently you require funds. Can you use those funds now is one very important. Now, this point which I really liked, where all of you come across, is people come and say, this is a time to buy property. Hey, you know, property prices are damn low, go and buy. Or, you know, this is the best time to buy. Yes, it is best time when you have right, you know, finances with you. You have a strong enough financial background, then go for investment. Otherwise, do not fall for traps and tricks by the people. They say this is the lowest, after 1 year the price is going to increase. Let it be. First you should sustain, you should try to live, you know, see that you are happy in the current moment, fit enough, then comes long term as well. Then open to new opportunities to work, do something in addition to what you're already doing. Friends, students, I would like to tell you, yes, this is a time, you know, in colleges, in the universities, in institutions, we teachers are always with their students, do this, do that. But today we cannot do that. We are on the online platforms. Okay, we are giving you resources. We are giving you, and today so much of resources are there for you guys, for your future, for your coming time. This is a time to get up what I am good at, what is required in the company, what skills I should acquire. And let me tell you, this time, a lot of people are making best use of this time, because the, you know, learning resources, e-resources available so plenty, free. A lot of people are doing a lot of courses which they were not able to afford earlier. So how I equip myself, what is it I should do in the long run? And this is the best time, maybe another 1-2 months, for you to think very seriously about only yourself. Be little selfish here, doesn't matter. Because if you can equip yourself, then you will definitely come up in the life and help your families and the societies also. So I think this golden time, you will never ever get it. So be open. What is coming in? What I should do? Which are the areas? In fact, let me tell you, friends, I'm not just saying because I have to say we are working. All the teachers, all the universities, all the institutions, we are trying to understand the situation, try to get up to the situation, come out with the learning modes, what best we can give it to students, what learnings we can do. We are continuously thinking only about this. So this is a time where we have to change ourselves, change our mindsets, be positive, learn continuously. Next slide, please. Yes, keep questioning your purpose. What am I doing? Why should I listen to webinar? No, in fact, I got some 10 offers because our principal Garu, is very close and he does very interesting program. I wanted to be part of that. I'm very clear because we should be on a platform which is win-win. I gain something and you gain something. Students, please understand. There should be a purpose in whatever you're doing. Be sure you're solving problems, saving resources, enhancing, and all organizations are looking for such kind of individuals. Because cut down the cost. Any employee who says this is what we can, see that our resources are utilized better, they are welcome. They are needed in the organizations. So you should think now in depth before you're spending, before you're utilizing your resources. Now, last point I would like to tell, don't assume that everyone will become a changed version of their previous selves once this crisis is over. No, we are like this, but we have to adapt ourselves. We have to understand where we are and what time frame, what we are going to do our future is very important. And with these few things, I think I have, these are the few points which I wanted to share with you, and maybe we can think in that direction to work in our projects or the research is what I wanted to propose. I think, sir, next slide, please. Yes, I thank all the participants, the teachers, the professors, the principal, and everyone. And one thing which I want to say is keep learning, stay safe. These are the few words which I want to close the webinar. And I hand over to Mr. Manish Garu.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for your valuable information and for sharing the valuable experiences also to our participants and all that. And we are very much thankful for your valuable insights also, madam. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. Over to principal, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Manish. Madam Sindhu, madam.
Thank you, sir.
As usual, your performance is par excellence. So very few people we see that the academic performance when we enter into administrative jobs because of some pressure and so many deadlines and all that, we miss track of our actual task called as academic performance. But you have always been excelling in academic performance also, and I think this is one of the best sessions I have attended during COVID and before COVID also. అంటే నా భూతో నా భవిష్యత్తు అనొచ్చు, మళ్ళీ మీరే ఇంకో సెషన్ తీసుకుంటే అప్పుడు యువర్ సెషన్ మే ఓవర్కమ్ దిస్ సెషన్ ఆల్సో. ఇన్ దిస్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఇఫ్ యూ పర్మిట్ మీ ఒక 2 minutes నేను వాట్ ఎవర్ వీ హ్యావ్ బీన్ డూయింగ్ ఇన్ దిస్ పీరియడ్ ఒక 2 minutes ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను మేడం. వెబినార్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ బీన్ దిస్ ఇస్ ద 15th Saturday or 14th Saturday we have been conducting webinars right from April onwards, madam. So it started with something called as entrepreneurship opportunities post COVID to మొదలు పెట్టామండి.
Very nice, sir.
తర్వాత placement opportunities, internship opportunities, step by step approach to invest in stock market, and also we have discussed with the help of a psychologist, we have handled a session called as economic and academic stress post COVID. And 15 days back, with the help of the director of School of Management Studies, Achar Nagarjuna University, Professor Sivaram Prasad, we have conducted one webinar on digital transformation and its impact on business functions. And last Saturday, we have conducted a webinar on how to succeed in uh, final interviews, personal interviews. That program was held by the Chief Executive Officer of Tata Strategic Management, who is an IITN and ISBN. So like that we have been doing, madam. And next Saturday we have planned a webinar with VV Lakshminarayana, JD Lakshminarayana, formerly known as JD Lakshminarayana, as something called as expectations of the nation from youth, or nation's expectations from youth. So that is next Saturday, madam. That will be our 15th webinar conducted by our college with the help of outside resource person. In addition to that, every Tuesday and Friday, we are conducting something called a student related, student managed webinars. So yesterday also one webinar was held by our students, where some students spoke about viral marketing, guerrilla marketing. Some students spoke about organic farming. Some students spoke about something called as financial management, capital budgeting. So like that we have been doing. So I think we have been effectively utilizing this COVID period, as told by you in the session, during the session. So academically also we are doing with the help of digitalization. So I must say that this program it can be called as a bloodline of this entire webinar, madam, because finance, as you said, it's the bloodline of that entire organization. So I am sure that this program has given us some insight to all the participants. Really glad for that. So if you allow us, we'll take up few of the important questions already posted by the participants in the chat box, madam.
Okay.
The questions will be read out by one of our faculty by name V. Chakravarti. So over to Chakravarti. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And let me thank the speaker, Dr. Sindhu madam, for making us being the part of this great webinar. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, sorry.
You may remove your mask, Chakravarti, sir. I think no one is there near you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much, ma'am. And the questions here, it is the session for question and answers. And I request all the remaining participants to please post your questions in the chat box. And those questions will be addressed by the resource person. And I will ask the questions with your name, representing your name. Thank you. And the first. Over to ma'am.
Yeah. Well, sir, I think sir was listening very keenly. Sir, it is one debatable issue, with the population of almost 130 crores and above. Okay. And, I would like to answer this, where the crude oil prices all over the globe are declining rather. And our prices are increasing. Given a huge package, but our prices are increasing. So let me tell you, the government policy, what is coming up, need to, self-sustainable, which already our Prime Minister Atmanirbhar was talking about. But it's not just the government, but every individual should think about how should we make ourselves sustainable. Government policies, government direction. But it is the sustainability of the individuals which we have to think very seriously. What are the policies, what are the, given by the government, and how we can utilize it. And the common man at the root level is unable to do it. So here plays a very important role, like universities and institutions, to, all these webinars or the seminars or the conferences, whatever, should reach that to the common man. Maybe in the form of student, in the form of a teacher, how they are going to spread. So here the government should again keenly think about our, competences in India. Yes, we were depending most of in other countries. First, agriculture, sir. We have to be self-sustainable. because with a huge population, nobody can feed us now. Imagine we have a shortfall, nobody can. So agriculture is one area where it needs to be re-emphasized, focused, and taken seriously. Then employment. Let me talk about here. Here, the youth, as I told in the beginning, your young population, they require jobs. So how are we gearing up towards that? How we engage our people either in the employment or the entrepreneurship is what we are looking from the government direction. Setting up companies, supporting them with the required ecosystem, and most of the governments are working. Let me share with you, sir, in our Telangana government, our minister is always looking out, scouting for the new projects to come into the state. We can employ, and we have traditional, like, handlooms. They're making it compulsory, sustainable, but it's a long run issue. So these are the areas where we need immediately a long-term planning, not only just COVID time, but beyond that, how should we become sustainable is my worry. I hope I could give some insight, and it's a very big issue what you have asked, and we have to look into detail as a researchers also.
Thank you, ma'am. And again, one more question from Shiv Shankar, sir. Do you think that government should have to take land reforms and distribute excess lands to the landless laborers to increase the economical growth?
I think with our kind of political system, our kind of democracy, it is not going to be easy. Whereas in other countries like China and all, it's a different issue. But here, I think it is not going to be easy distribution of land. Yeah, they are coming out with some schemes time to time, supporting the people to give. But I think land, if it is distributed, again, the government cannot take back for the projects it is going to take for the entire welfare of the nation. So there should be a clear strategic plan, how much should be with the government and how much should be distributed in the form for house or any other thing. A clear plan has to be chalked out so that we have seen there are many cases. I would like to quote, there is one outer ring road built in our city, and it was one particular land was with one landlord, and he did not give, and it went to High Court. It took 3 years to come out and build that. And that road is very essential to all the general public. So a lot of such issues are there. So a lot of such policy decision needs to come in. I think the government needs to relook and rethink about the land issues also.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
And one more question from Aisha. As companies has started to go for mergers and acquisitions to gain competitive advantage, resources and technology enhancements, what could be the best possible way to go for companies to increase the liquidity? Will be the equity method or offering more shares at a primary market or any other method which brings efficiency in handling mergers and acquisitions?
Very nice question, Anusha. Here, as you said, see, mergers and acquisitions or the amalgamations, whatever is happening, so that they can strategically move to a growth plan. That is why they go for, we have seen in the banking, which has happened in India also, your SBI, Andhra Bank, Vijay Bank, they got, with other banks respectively. Now, the reason is, if you have a consolidated position during this time, I know liquidity, as you were asking, no, liquidity is just one aspect. There are so many other aspects the companies have to look. Let's say long-term sustainability, long-term growth, okay, and if they can manage liquidity with this, and most of the banks or the other where mergers are happening, they are relooking because they want to move to now very badly digital platforms or digitization so that the cost can be reduced. Now, friends, here what happened? It is again you have seen recently in BSNL also it has happened. They given open, the MD asked, a lot of people took VRS and moved up. Okay, now every company is looking for this. See, if the company is not sustainable, definitely every employee will not have a chance. So how to liquidate is, do they have something? I was talking about focusing on competitive advantage, focusing on the core things. Anything which is unrelated maybe should be dispersed of. which might enhance the liquidity, or their energies and resources can be utilized in a very positive way. So liquidity, yes, how much accessible they are to the markets, from where they can get funds, is a very important aspect.
Thank you, ma'am. And one more question from Shiv Shankar Das. Demand is low, so supply would be equilibrium. How the economical growth would be high?
Sir, if you look at a very interesting series, I think economics professor who's talking about demand and supply. Demand is low, in supply is also reduce the current situation. Now in the coming time, the demand has to increase. The companies, the government, individuals, how the demand will increase. What about the level of supply? Now let me talk about one particular sector here. Today, if you look pan-India, the online classes are going. I know governments and high courts are saying no, but suddenly there's a lot of online classes, virtual platforms we are moving in. There is a huge demand for the smartphones and the laptops and etc. Okay, and we get mostly supply from China, right? I was talking to one other dealer. He was telling, no, madam, I cannot give you. I don't have supply. Huge demand is there. Now, this, unless we are not sustainable, we cannot produce unless we really invest in a big way. So it depends upon which sector you're talking about. As a whole economy, if you look, as a country also, we have to identify where we are good, what is required immediately, what is required now within a year, what is required next 2 years, next 5 years, then see how should be. Now, for example, again, let me come back to something called agriculture. If you are unable to produce, then who will depend on? Every country is facing this issue now. Sometimes excess production, sometimes very low production. We've seen onions or tomatoes reaching very high. How do you balance is very important. So definitely demand is decreasing now presently, but the demand over a period of time will enhance, but we should be ready to supply the required demand for the growth of the organization.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And we have some more questions. Yeah, here is a question from Venugopal, Dr. Venugopal. Why discrimination in offering packages to the teaching community, especially private sector? Is government policies are justified in this COVID scenario? The packages are given to advocates also.
I think even as a part of the university, part of the institution, this is one issue where all of us need to think. We are seeing so much on social media and newspapers, what is happening to the teachers, both at the school level and university level. I think there should be a policy which should, we are also thinking to propose and see the interest of the teachers should be protected. It is not like a hire and fire. You take them, when there is a huge class and you send them back. No, we have to come out with a policy, and we have to think how to strengthen and how to bring that change, how to enhance the skills of the teachers and give them a proper package so that they start contributing wholeheartedly. I'm not saying they're not doing, they are doing it, but very important issue is how they sustain themselves current situation. So everybody has to support. The managements need to support, the universities need to support, the government should come out with a policy so that their mind should not be on salary. Their mind should be on how to I make my students learn, or what I should see, what best I can give in this situation. I think every teacher is doing, but the sustainability of living is very important. That needs to be supported by the management. I think government is also working in that direction. We are meeting time to time. Even the regulatory bodies are also working.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
And one more question from Manoj Kumar Setpati. Now, should we go for government? Sorry for the interruption. Okay. So, question from Manoj Kumar Setpati. Now, should we go for government-related investment or in equities, that is in market?
I could not get your question. Can you tell me again, please?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. So I think in his view, can we go for government related investment or we can go for a stock market investment? Which one you suggest?
Yeah, present situation, it is better to go for government related investments. Again, it depends upon your financial condition. If your financial condition is good, you can, it's a time you can make investments in the equity, wait for another 1 year or 2 years, it's good time. But if your funds are limited, you have to use, then go for little lower risk instruments, which may be fetching you the expected return, and the risk is also very low.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And one more question from N. Sudhakaran. Give me some insights to life insurance sector in the post-COVID period.
Sir, it has become necessity. All these years, everybody was postponing, but no, I think all of us should think our life very seriously, ensuring our life, and everybody has to think both health and life. We should, because first we have to safeguard ourselves. Let government, other policies, okay, but we have to safeguard. So yes, insurance sector is going to boom, already started. IRDA also playing a very important role. So it is going to be, doing good in the coming time. Especially a country like us, yes, they are gearing up now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Are also taking up even the rural level, or the banks with minimum amounts they are giving insurance. Yes, it is going to play, very important game changer in the coming time.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I think we cannot find no more questions. And I request all the participants, if you have any more questions, you can post you.
If he wants to add a line, he can add. Otherwise, over to Lalita madam. Thank you.
Manish sir, are you willing to share something?
No, madam. Now I request Dr. K. Lalita Garu, Professor, Hindu College of Management, to propose vote of thanks. Over to Lalita madam.
Thank you, Manish sir. I wish a very good afternoon to the Honorable Professor Sindhu madam, respected Secretary and Correspondent, beloved Principal, faculty members from India and abroad, parents, and my dear student friends, and most valuable invitees. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I would like to start with one quote. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Today, I take this opportunity to put all my gratitude in the form of words. First of all, I would like to propose hearty vote of thanks to our Chief Speaker, Professor Sindhu, Director, School of Management, for gracing today's webinar and delivering the inaugural address. I am not a teacher, but I am an awaker, said Robert Frost. Yes, a teacher is a compass who activates magnets of curiosity, knowledge, and wisdom. While the teachers invest tremendous amount of time outside of the time spent with their students, as a versatile teacher, Professor Sindhu started her address basing on the top 10 most worrisome risks that were faced by all the companies. Then Professor Sindhu continued her lecture, how to overcome the risks by the efficient decisions taken by the finance manager and the implications of the decisions on the firm, and finally, how microeconomic factors impact the decisions of the firm. Finally, Madam Sindhu has given practical steps for preparation of financial crisis by keeping money handy and spend carefully and not borrow from even friends. Also, use debit or credit cards. Do not fall into cheap tricks played by business firms in this crisis and be open to new opportunity in addition to our normal work. Really, a fantastic presentation given by Madam, which we received today. And one word I would like to add is that I love the name of Sindhu Madam. Thank you, Madam, for your very interesting and thought-provoking address. I am sure that all the participants have taken note of your suggestions and will be discussed their teams, the action to be initiated at their level. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by our principal, Dr. S.V. Ramana. You have been a constant support and you gave us a lot of encouragement. Thank you, sir. I am very grateful to our college secretary and correspondent for giving us an opportunity to organize this event. I can proudly say that our college is the best one in providing student-centric webinar in this pandemic situation. I may fail in my duty if I could not express my sincere thanks to the director, Dr. A. Rajasekar, principal of PG courses, C.H. Subbarao Garu, and his team for their constant support in the functioning of the college. I heartily congratulate all the participants for their active participation in this event. As no program can become successful with a single person, so I extend my big thanks to our department faculty for their support and especially Sri Kevin Manish for his technical support in all the webinars. Thank you all for making this event successful with your contribution, and we are expecting the same helping hand in the coming webinar of the next Saturday. Thank you one and all. Over to Manish sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Manish sir, I think once again I would like to thank Professor Sindhu madam for having accepted our request. So I request you to end the meeting, Manish.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your.
Please send me the feedback, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Sure, definitely, definitely, ma'am. Thanks to our principal, sir. Thanks to the guest speaker. Thanks to all the participants. Thanks to the HODs and faculty members from India and abroad, from various universities and B schools and institutions, colleges, and the student fraternity. Thanks to one and all. Thank you. Feedback link already posted in the chat box. I will keep this meeting on for another 5 minutes. If anyone has not submitted their feedback, you can submit, no problem. And if anyone has not received the certificate also, feel free to send us a message so that we will respond immediately and the certificate will be sent to your mail ID accordingly. Nothing to worry about that. Thanks for your valuable participation. And next Saturday also, we are going to organize a webinar on nation's expectations from the youth. The iconic personality is going to address the participants. He is none other than Sri V.V. Lakshminarayan Garu, former Joint Director, CBI, Government of India. Thank you. Thank you one and all.
Yeah, please end the meeting first.
Okay, sir. Just 2 minutes on unstanu sir. Feedback link okasari.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I request others, you may leave the meeting. Thank you. From Ethiopia also, Dr. D. Gunashankar, he participated. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He joined. Yeah. Thanks to all the participants. We are ending the meeting. Thank you.